Oh, hello everyone.
Aloha! Happy birthday, Leanne! Haolila ka now
Thank you, Anella.
on this beautiful 555, and you're turning
Mhm.
50 on the 555 with the full moon
Mhm.
eclipse
So
energy.
auspicious.
And
Yes.
Wesate.
and
And
so in
did you
alignment,
just pick that?
yes, I just drew the coin. So in alignment with you. So in alignment with you.
And I chose to be here today by my Kuan Yin statue. Do you see her?
Oh, I didn't
Yes.
even notice, but isn't that perfect?
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. And at this retreat, we're going to have a ceremony connecting to Kuan Yin
Yeah.
Yes.
on the
Yes.
eclipse, not eclipse, the equinox of
Yeah.
September 23rd. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So let's tell our audience who we are, why we're going to Mount Shasta, and why they should join us. So Ellen, Anella, and I held a retreat last year in Mount Shasta. And before that, we had a beautiful, amazing, transformative time on the Big Island.
Mhm.
And so our path together is divinely guided, would you say?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
I was told
Definitely.
in a message to work with both of you, so received that
Hmm.
validation before these retreats even happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Mhm.
divinely guided. And the transformation that we witnessed and actually that experienced each of us, I think I can speak for myself, massive transformations of these retreats has been life-changing, completely
Hmm.
life-changing. And,
Mhm.
I got the message that many of us are ready or are living in a heavenly space now because we are manifesting, we are creating, we are reaching that high frequency connection that the universe speaks in joy, love, right? So to be able to support that for others is such a gift, and especially with the two
Mhm.
of you, you're so magical. And with Neil, who'll be coming in to help with the body physical part of the manifestations and integration. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Too bad Neil couldn't be here today. He's actually with a client
yeah,
doing what he does best.
yes, absolutely.
Yes. And I love that this is open to all gender because we're not here to push one or the other. We
Yeah.
are all moving towards an expression of who we are in its divinity, which is the
Mhm.
union, living in unity consciousness that
Mhm.
is um, really embodying why we came here and who we are in our essence. And
Yes.
um, having Neil there will have this strong protection, and to have him also hold space for other males who are there to heal through their own, um, you know, past.
Yeah.
So Mount Shasta is known as an incredible vortex of energy, and we experienced it when we were there last year. And I put on a website, it's like the spiritual equivalent of technological leapfrogging. And like you said, Ellen, so many people are going through spontaneous awakenings, and to have guidance, to take time off to be able to dive further in to get guidance, and in a sacred place of this energetic vortex that is so
Mhm.
powerful, I think will then accelerate what they can bring home and radiate that light into their community.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's like when we go to these places, just because I've been traveling so much, lately. I make a year next month. I can't believe it. But when I'm sitting on these PowerPoints and these places, it activates what's already within me and just brings it out. And it's like I expand. And every time I leave, you know, I'm like, I take that with me to different places. And I feel like us doing this retreat in Mount Shasta is going to give everybody that opportunity to really expand what they already have inside. It's not like we're teaching them anything, or we're, you know, we're not running this retreat to say, hey, come and do this and do that. It's to embody themselves and go deep into the self to shine what's already inside. And the mountain holding us, that sacred mountain, is going to activate it like super powerful. And that's just from my own experience. It's like, it doesn't have to be anything outside of me to learn or go get information from people. It's just activating what I already have inside and deepening that. And sitting in Mount Shasta, I mean, because of our lineage with the Mu people, even if people haven't had past lives in Mu, it brings that part of them out of that, because it's always, the codes are hidden within the DNA already.
Mhm. So let's expand on that. So you're saying there's a connection between Mount Shasta and the Mu people.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Mhm.
From my own experience, what I
Mhm.
remember, what has come in for me is when Mu was at its like coming down and going, a lot of the Mu people had left and went through either through the ocean, becoming mermaids, or went into the tunnels to different places. And whether it was into Peru or into Mount Shasta, and they hold that energy to assist us in this now timeline to come back to our center, back to love, back to the joy, back to who we were back then, our ancestors. Even if we weren't there physically in those timelines, um, it's hard to explain in it's hard for me to explain it, but it's just, it's part of that interdimensionality. It's right here, right next to each other, side by side. And so when we quiet ourselves and we take that time, you know, without the outside distractions, and really take that time out for ourselves, and then we're in a place where all of us are in that frequency, we just exchange codes with each other and expand each other in this light, you know. Just like the last time when we went, there was so much activation for me from the participants. I was like, wow, the water came back in. And speaking of water, Leanne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be in this 10-acre private retreat space. It has a flowing creek through it that represents the polarities of male, divine feminine, divine masculine coming into union, which is exactly what we are embodying when we embody our divinity. And so there's a little, they call it the crystal pool, where we get to go in and to receive those codes of unity. And we're also going to be doing experiments. Oh, let me take that back. It's not experiments. It's communication and connection with the divinity and the consciousness of water. And to be able to receive and to give this connection with water is so powerful, because it's profound. Like there are no words to explain how the water is actually speaking to us, but when you see it, and we're going to use Petri dishes, we're going to use it in the freezer, and it's really quick, and it's going to be so wonderful. Yeah.
Ellen had an experience on our last retreat. You want to share?
Yeah, before we went to the Mount Shasta retreat last time, and I want to echo what you've both already said, that there's so much that comes through being together and having that time and space to move out of the thinking mind and into connection with your presence, right? So, speaking of that, I received a message before we went to Mount Shasta. First, that I would be led to Mount Shasta, but I didn't know how. And then, of course, it was brought through you beautiful beings who created this space and retreat for it last year, and I could be a part of. And then I was told that there would be a place where the waters would come together, the divine masculine and feminine, and that we would find it. And I remember we got to the retreat and did not know how we were going to find that water, but I said, no, I've been told we will find it. It will be found. And on one day when we were at the retreat center Hestia, I just started walking because I think that we mentioned it in the walking of the grounds, and they said actually there is a place where there's a convergent of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divine projector, the divine receptive energy. There is a point. So I just started walking one day, that same day later, and I just came upon it. And I was going to go back and get the group and say, I found it. When right behind me, the whole group was there. And that's just one synchronicity. And this whole part of combining and integrating both parts of ourselves, our spiritual selves, and also our spiritual self with our physical self, like this message is coming through so strong because on the last eclipse, I received a message and a download that the full power of the universe was now coming to our aid, was now here. And the reason that that could happen was because of the integration of the parts of ourself with source. And so by accepting all of us and no label, but just allowing us to be human and spiritual, masculine and feminine, projector and receiver, and how when we project and send energy out, we receive as well within us every time out. So this whole idea of wholeness, just like what I experienced in my near-death experience of being of the light. And that's my new way of living in the world, by the way. And I will speak about this, another download, that there are ways of existing. The world is happening to us. The world is happening for us. The world is happening through us. And then the last piece that I just received at my own retreat that I led here in Encinitas is that it is happening of us. We are of source. We are source. We are not separate. And by saying the world that the universe and events are happening through us, it's almost seeing our human as an instrument rather than a part of the whole. So as it came to me, it is that we are of that light. So the world and our experiences are happening of us. And so that's been like a whole new thing. And we can bring that energy, if it aligns with those who are coming to the retreat, into our experiences, into the sound healing, into the crystal bowls, into the cold water and cold plunges and the connection, moving through fear in that moment of stepping into cold water while knowing you are also receiving, but that you are held. I mean, there's so many powerful parts of the land on Mount Shasta. And Anella, that's something I've learned so much through you, the honoring of the land and the sacred mission of everything on this planet for us and how it's working of us as well, right? So thank you for letting me speak to that. That was a magical moment last year when I said, we found it. I knew it. I knew it was here. They told me I was coming. They told me that it would be here. And we got to experience it all together as a group. And we got to clean each other's feet and hold space for each other and nurture each other in that water. So beautiful.
And there will be a lot of that as we, the facilitators, hold the space for your remembrance of your divinity. And we will have some sacred plant medicine, as well as really connecting to the elements of the space, because we don't, we're not separate from nature. And going to Mount Shasta allows us to really experience being a part of it. We are so separated in our normal world, in our little houses and cubicles. And so give yourself that chance of really starting to remember how you are of nature and not just one part of nature.
Yeah.
And
create unity. I think right now that I just want to say that reminded me, Leanne, that with division in the world, there are so many ways that even people of light that are trying to spread joy and light can somehow create division in the way that they are viewing or judging or seeing other people, right? Anything that creates division within us right now is not, in my opinion, of the purpose that we are sent here. We're sent here to be whole and to be joy and to, receive from every experience. It is all part of the greater. And I think anything we can do to bring unity for ourselves, our world, with nature, with plant, with animals, with cosmic beings, with light beings, with intergalactic
Mhm,
beings. I love it. With the universe, with the stars, everything.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what a powerful time to do that together. That's something that I've been really practicing during this journey because I'm always out here in nature. And instead of just witnessing nature, I sit in places and become nature. I become the tree. I become the land. I become the leaf, the caterpillars, the butterflies, the birds. And I have that time to do that. And it's been amazing for me because I too have been using this time for me to receive. And so I've been on like at least 4 retreats this year, just for myself in groups. And the expansion that happens because I'm in that state of mind in these places, it's like, it's almost like being born again. I don't know how to explain it in words, but I'm seeing the earth and the world and the people and everything with a new set of eyes that I've never seen or witnessed before, paying attention to little things like the wind behind Leanne right now, the
Oh,
ancestors,
that's so
just joy, celebrating
Mhm.
in joy with what was just said. It was like, oh, I just saw that.
I felt that. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so the dates.
September 21st to 28th, coinciding with the fall equinox and a full moon. We will
Mhm.
have ceremonies on both of those auspicious dates and lots of integration time in between. And delicious organic food that will be gluten-free, vegan, and we will have options for any dietary preferences. We will have a beautiful house and 2 cottages to choose from. And we have payment plans on right now. So the earlier you can sign up, the longer you can opt to pay throughout. Um, and one more thing I wanted to say, just really quick, because today is the full moon and it is an evolving spiritual landscape out there. In the past few maybe years, you've heard a lot of people say in the full moon, you need to release, you need to let go what doesn't serve you. And Ellen just spoke to that about how even spiritual rhetoric can cause division. You see the birds? Yeah. And so, what are we doing when we cause division even within us? Of saying there are parts of me that I don't welcome. There are parts of me that I'm working towards, and I need to let go, and I need to burn it, and I need to da 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 da. So all
Mm.
these full moon rituals and ceremonies that are going on today, let's bring it back to wholeness and integration. What
Mhm.
gifts are you receiving from your remembrance of your past or the lessons that have come through your experiences? Learn to integrate that within because they become a part of you. And if you're always working to exercise it, that is your
That's
block.
great.
That is where you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
So I just
Mhm.
really wanted to speak to that.
Thank
Yes,
you for
Ellen.
saying that.
That made
Yeah.
me think of something that I learned from my spiritual mentor the other day in talking about this very thing is that we are
Mhm.
all having experiences that are inviting us into mastery. So
Yes.
Yes.
this whole experience of conflict or contrast, right, or dense energy that we may have day to day life is another opportunity to choose love. These retreats are such an amazing way to step into more mastery and hold your balance amidst those experiences as they come up, because they do come up to see. And you'll find that the more you move into mastery, the more those outside circumstances are insulated from you so that you can transmute them, you can shift them, you can see them without having them come in and do a shakeup like
Mhm.
past. I remember stepping out of the vortex in Mount Shasta. We went to Ascension Rock on the last day, and it was part of our integration day because in these events, we have these great moments of transformation and insight. And then we come out and we have a couple of days and we have an arc to our retreats where we integrate and we start to bring back what we're going to take into our waking world. We stepped off Ascension Rock. We had this beautiful meditation there. And I felt as though we were stepping out of one doorway into another life, into a new life, same landscape, same earth, different frequency experiences, different interactions, different relationships, different financial abundance. Like it's stepping off within the next day, things had shifted. So I just want to acknowledge that this place is amazing and I felt it for my own life. And, you know, how cool is that, right? We never get that kind of experience.
Mhm.
Yes, and when the ascended masters and the bodhisattvas came through for me through Ellen's sound bowl journey, it
Mm.
was so powerful. It brought me into such a deep place of acknowledgement of my own divinity and in all humility, but being held in such a sacred, safe space, I could step into it without shame, without guilt,
Mhm.
you know? And that's the beauty of, again, coming and saying yes, because those insights are waiting to be revealed to you. And again, it's not external, it's all within. And
Mhm.
ultimately, those messages are from our own eternal soul.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when Ellen did the bowls, I had that remembrance and I was actually taken into the mountain during that journey, Ellen. And that really shifted my perspective on a lot of things because I was learning, like how you say, Leanne, learning from the outside and we're just recreating what people are saying. But on that specific journey, Ellen, I went so deep within and I was awakened to information about the soul that I've never seen before, like actually seen on that journey. And so when I went into that mountain, I was like, wow, I had so much understanding of my own soul all of a sudden. So thank you. I can't wait to do another one. Even
Yes.
though we're facilitators, I'm like, I get to receive.
I know,
I'm really
I
looking forward to that.
And I got to receive from you that as well in Hestia too. We all received from it. You and Leanne both had led this beautiful ceremony and received knowledge from both of you and your days of journeys and energy work and teachings and education. And what is a message for one is a message for all. And your message that you saw in that singing bowl music and imagery journey, right? I saw it with you. And then when we went to the mountain the next day and went to Ascension Rock, I could hear them. The same things that you had connected with within the mountain, that same energy, as I was meditating, could hear the hum, could hear their music, could hear their vibe, and could even see visions of this whole energetic collection there at the mountain that I'd never seen before. You know, visions of like maybe the past or maybe the future, maybe it's the present, I'm not sure, but
Maybe it's the now. It's all the same.
it's all,
Yeah.
Collapsing right here.
Yes.
it's
Mhm.
all now come together in one. So
Mhm.
there are
Yeah.
elements of all these different times within one. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually,
and to kind of give a concept to that, we are embodiments of all our ancestral past,
Yes.
and
Yes.
in our showing up in this lifetime, we're truly tapping into that lineage, this stream of energetic mission of
Mhm.
energy. And
Mhm.
so that's what I feel we really offer, because we all three, four have such a complex soul path that it's coming through as we access those teachings even within ourselves and unlocking that code, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all have different ways of sharing the information. So
Mhm.
it's fascinating because it just gives the participant that opportunity to have layers and layers of information and wisdom all at once.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And having said that, our first 5 participants are going to receive a private session for free from your choice of Ellen, me, Anella, O'Neill. And there will be time, in fact, all the agenda is on the website. There will be time for optional add-ons during the retreat where you receive from us, get private sessions to help you integrate what has been coming through for you, And that's really valuable.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if we could take a moment and list some of the things that will be included. I mean, I can start with what Neil's bringing because he's not here. There's a fitness aspect, there's a breath work, a body work aspect, movement. And I know Leanne also has so much knowledge and education around that too. I'll be bringing my crystal singing bowls, messages from the angelic realm, color. I work with color, light, and sound to allow people to experience their own presence and messages, whatever's meant to come through. They could come through visions as both Anela and Leanne have spoken about here. It can come through the embodiment of an ascended master or messages from animals. It can come through in any way. We teach you to how to access your own knowledge through that experience and sound. And I came out of a coma to music. So music happens to be my channel for that, my fuel. So that's me. But Anela, Leanne, like, let's talk about more of it because there's so much that this retreat brings, not just the all-inclusive food part. And like,
Yeah. Anela?
Okay. So I just want to share my experiences, and just this experience, this vision quest that I've been on for the past year. It's almost a year. I've been just really deepening my connection with Mother Earth, and also deepening my connection with my star ancestors. And I feel like I am in this center, and everything is just merging together and bringing in that multidimensionality within myself, And so for me, my intention is just to hold space so other people can embody their own divinity and their own unity consciousness, learning how to connect with different things around the earth, the trees, because everything we have access to every single living thing on this earth. And that's something that I've been really experiencing a lot lately, especially this last trip that I went to with Iceland. It was like I connected with the interdimensional beings. I was connecting to the rocks. I was connecting to, and I didn't realize like the rocks has consciousness. You can like the earth itself and the what you call those, the resources that we have, whether it's the water, the rocks, the lava, it all has consciousness. And when we really sit and connect with those other parts, and I have to say of ourselves, because there's no separation. We are these things that we think is separate, and it's difficult for me to explain in words. And so that aspect is what I want to bring, is just teaching people kind of or allowing people to experience what I've experienced on this journey. I don't have a time schedule. I can just wake up and be in nature, and I make my own time schedule. I'm very aware of the sun and the stars and the movement around me, and each state is different. The sky movements are different. When I went to Iceland, I realized that the sun rises and sets just like this, where in Hawaii, I was so used to it being directly to the west and to the east. And so just sharing some of the experiences that I went through, and taking people to these sacred sites and allowing them to experience those sites the way that I've been experiencing the world and all these vortexes that we've been in. Right now, we're at Poverty Point. I don't know if you guys know, but it was an ancient site, and people say it was a Native American site, but it goes way back deeper. And there's a connection to Atlantis in this site, which I didn't connect with Atlantis before, but it seems like this past week I've been shifting into that timeline and really receiving a lot of information. I'm not sure how this place is connected to there yet. I know the ley lines are running straight through it, so I've been doing a lot of ley line work and grid work, and I'm excited to bring that also to the retreat, because Mount Shasta is a very powerful ley line. It's connected to Hawaii and also to Peru. And I'm going to Peru in November. So it's
Right.
like, oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I look forward to bringing through a lot of what I have been practicing myself, this ancient shamanistic practices from uh, the Himalayas, and how that is going to enter into our ceremonies through the Amrita meditation ceremonies, which are the nectar of immortality, and really tapping into what we have always known to be the way of the one who connects and is one of the light, you know. And so I have Kuan Yin behind me. She's also known as Chenrezig and Avalokiteshvara in India, who's androgynous. There is no gender. She just became female when she entered China. But we will connect with her. She always holds a flask of Amrita, and this is the nectar of immortality that we will access during Equinox. And the practices are meant to really bring us back into our bodies. And the whole idea of unity ultimately is to acknowledge that we are here on Earth right now. All the timelines may be happening right here, but our experience in this now timeline is to be completely human and to access what being a divine human is. And so when we start to really feel the plasma that is around us and within us and becoming one with it, we're wielding that energetic forces around us that we have access to, that we have the ability to become. And yeah, it's so much that I will be offering. It is going to truly be where just the location itself and the plant medicines around us, including the Young Living essential oils, the teas, the herbs. I'm gonna take you all as we go on the sacred site visits to do some wildcrafting responsibly and reverently, and to really connect with what's around there. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So we will, go into more detail in other lives, but today we just really wanted to kind of introduce you to how much is in store for you when you come. We have had such glowing testimonies from past retreat participants, and literally their lives took a pivot when they said yes to a retreat with us. So
I think the shift begins even before the retreat.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
exactly.
have a 21-day online with meditations online before the retreat, so we can create that energetic container together before we even meet, and also start to connect with the energy of Mount Shasta prior to arriving there, so that we will be received and we can receive from what we're putting out there and giving before.
And that's so important. That's just kind of like the Hawaiian culture. You don't just step into something. You prepare your consciousness, you prepare your body, and you make that relationship and build the relationship energetically before we even step into a place. So
Yes. So excited. And I'm going to be leading lots of singing and love it.
And I'm learning how to play the ukulele, so
I'll bring mine too.
And drums. We're gonna have drumming circles. We're gonna
bring our drums, all sorts
and
of
music,
sound,
all sorts of sound, toning, and all right, ladies. I love you all so much.
Oh, love you guys too. Good meeting with you guys and seeing you guys.
So good. Love y'all.
All right.
Aloha.
Take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha.